I'm Legend, I play this game professionally, so I can probably hit rank 1. So first up today, we are against a Hunter, and we keep the Widowbloom Seedsman because the ramp can be very, very good in a lot of matchups, even if it's a little bit greedy against a Hunter. But also, you can see my face, I'm actually shocked that this is a Hunter. That is a Druid skin, okay? I don't care what anybody says, that is a motherfucking Druid, okay? So I end up keeping the Widowbloom Seedsman, thinking I need to, like, counter ramp the enemy Druid, so it ends up being not the perfect keep, but it's, at least the card is still good in multiple matchups. It's not like I kept, like, Drum Circle expecting to try to get that, so it's fine, I guess, but overall pretty disappointed. Anyway, they're gonna play their Ricochet shot and kill off my minions, even though I just got two 2/2s out there, which is a bit unfortunate, but I mean, what else am I supposed to do? I couldn't control that. Now I'm like, okay, I go Disciple on 4, Summer Flower Child on 5, get the Drum Circle, play it on 6, and there's no way I lose the game, right? So I play the Summer Flower Child, Topiary, and Cultivation. Fuck, okay, we don't have Drum Circle. This might be a bit of a problem. They're also probably going to trade their 4/4 into my 4/5, which means that I'm just going to have to deal with 2 3/3s, but then they don't trade into my 4/4 or my 4/5, which is a little bit weird. I think I end up killing that off, play Topiary along with Innervate and the 1-mana spell, just so I'm able to get a couple of 3/3s out there, and I kill off both of their 3/3s and actually do draw Drum Circle, which means that it'll be activatable next turn. Since I haven't played a choose one card yet, the Drum Circle will be active next turn. Now, I'm at 7 HP. Scratch that. I'm at 4 HP. I'm a little bit worried. If they have any sort of direct damage, I'm dead, but I have to commit to a play here. I either go the Lifebinder's Gift to try to find some armor, or I say, screw it, let's go with, Taunt to develop a board and try to win the game next turn. I end up double activating the gift here, which is a little bit weird, but the reason I do that is because I already know I'm going to build up a board because of Topiary's effect. So it makes me think, okay, maybe I am allowed to try to find armor or another sort of taunt here. At the end of the day, we have effectively the exact same amount of HP. I heal 6, but their weapon would have hit me in the face anyway to deal 6. So basically, I'm at the exact same amount of HP, and they leave the game up to the fates. They get Black Rock and Roll, Heavy Plate, Altered Chord, which doesn't do damage to face, and then Jackpot. So I don't end up losing here, and I'm thinking, okay, if I can draw Cultivation, I can win, and I drew Cultivation. But wait a minute, you say? I don't actually have that much, I don't really have that much mana. But luckily, I had a reduced cost Drum Circle, and I had the other Cultivation, so it was fine. But for a split second, I thought, wait, do I not win here? So next up, we are against another Hunter, and we actually like the hand a little bit more because we have Natural Causes, which allows me to fight off an early game board, and we like having it because if we need to, we can coin it out to kill the 2/1 that draws secrets. That fucking card. I cannot believe, by the way, that the nerfs aren't to the ability, it's to the stats. The stats are not the problem on that stupid 2/1. It should be like the Peasant, where you draw at the, start of your turn, so you actually have some counterplay, but whatever, I digress. We end up forging the Embrace of Nature because we're probably going to play it within the next couple of turns, and we'll play the Forest Blossom as well as the Embrace Nature, so that way we are just able to contest the board. Because again, it's a Hunter, we need to fight for board every step of the way. Now, I like this hand a lot, actually, because the Drum Circle is active with both choose one effects because we got it off of the Embrace Nature. So as long as we can ramp up to that point really quickly, we should be fine. And I especially like the fact that we have Solar Eclipses in hand, which means there's a world where we can double activate it. We don't end up hitting into any other things for 2 reasons. 1, Explosive Trap if we hit their face, and 2, Bait and Switch if we hit their minion, and then also if the secrets activate, their weapon becomes reduced in cost, which is kind of a problem. We ramp up a little bit, go the gift, and now we are able to play the Drum Circle along with Solar Eclipse on the same turn. Unfortunately for me though, they're doing a buttload of damage to me, okay? I'm at 6 HP. On turn 6, after having possibly the best or one of the best early game hands that I can ask for, other than, I guess, Witchwood Apple. I end up playing the Solar Eclipse along with the Drum Circle here because it is still my best play. It still puts a lot of things out on the board. Do I just play 1 Drum Circle? No, I have to double activate it, right? To threaten lethal next turn. Yeah, we double activate it. We trade into the 3/4 because if it is Bait and Switch, I can kill it with my 7 attack. and we're in an okay spot. I was thinking about playing the gift this turn, but I wasn't able to play any of the spells that I get. They target my face and they do no damage. They draw some cards, and then they get Arcane Defenders, which is pretty good, but ultimately not going to be nearly good enough. We have way too much damage on the board here. We get Planted Evidence. Do I not have lethal at this point? No, I don't. I actually only have 18 damage currently. So I'm thinking, okay, how do I want to win? Do I want to double? I'm going to first test to see what the secrets are, if it's rogue or something. I want to make sure that it's not motion denied, so I'm going to hero power first. It ends up being Wandering Monster, because I haven't tested that secret out yet. But I hero power first to play around motion denied, and then it doesn't end up being that. I end up gaining a ton of random spells, and then I gain armor, and since I know that they can't get over my taunt, armor should just be enough to win the game. Somebody said that I probably could have found lethal that turn, but I think just playing defensively is better. So next up, we're against a warrior, and it is Clark. Spoiler alert, the game before this, or a couple of games earlier when I played him, I lost because they had Bladestorm and Brawl. So basically, I'm just hoping that if I get a big board, they don't have Bladestorm and Brawl to deal with it, and it actually affects my plays going forward, because I know what cards Clark is running in his deck, because we played already. We forged the Embrace of Nature because it's really, really good, and we're probably going to play it next turn. Or maybe coin out the Disciple if I feel like I need to, but I don't think it'll be that important. Turn 3, Prince Renathal. Very nice. That's a very weak play, in my opinion. We will draw the card first to see what we get. Ends up being the gift. If it had been Drum Circle, maybe I wouldn't have forged that card. Maybe I would have, like, hero powered or something. I don't exactly know if it would have changed my game plan at all, but we forge. Next turn, I'm trying to think about what I want to do here, because there are a couple of different options. I could play the Disciple, which I end up deciding to do here, and I go really fast. I take Topier because into this matchup, Topier is a way of gaining extra minions if they do have Brawl and Bladestorm. They kill off my board. I'm able to play a bunch of nature spells and develop 1 or 2 more boards. But anyway, I was thinking, do I want to double activate the Lifebinder's Gift? Is that good in this matchup? Because I already know that if they have good removal, I will lose my board. So is it more important for me to generate more cards and play around Topier? Or is it more important for me to try to draw a Drum Circle as quickly as possible? Also, putting Topier on top makes it a little bit more likely that we get Drum Circle on a following turn with the Summer Child, because that's 1 less 6 or more cost card to draw. So that's another reason why I put Topier on the deck, or on the top of the deck. I guess technically could have been Aquatic Form and then do it, but that essentially does nothing. It would have given me 1 more option, but it was probably going to be Topier either way. So at this point, I'm feeling pretty confident. Next turn is probably going to be Drum Kit, along with the coin into the Forest Seedlings, again to play around Bladestorm. If I have 2 HP minions on the board, along with all of my other high HP minions with Drum Circle, Bladestorm isn't going to be as effective. I think about it for a little bit, but then I realize I should probably play the coin into a 2/2, and now I've got 3 different HPs out on the board. Yeah, Bladestorm could still be good for them, but they'd still have to trade in all of their minions, and doing quick math, I think at least a couple of my minions still would have lived, even through a Bladestorm. So I think I made the right call here, and again, I know that I have Topier to potentially flood the board again later on, so I feel very confident at this point. And instead of having a good card, Clark plays Trial by Fire, which is going to be buffed soon, and maybe it's buffed by the time this video comes out, but as of right now, at 7 mana, it is a little bit too expensive. But anyway, I'm trying to think, do I have lethal? And the answer is no. I play Innervate and try to draw another card with the Embrace of Nature, just so I don't accidentally top deck at the next turn and then have a useless card in my hand with the Embrace of Nature, and I get 2 3/3s, which is relevant because with Drum Circle and the Cultivation, it could be enough to threaten lethal next turn, depending on what they do. Hopefully, Clark doesn't have Bladestorm or Brawl or any other sort of big removal. Clark plays the gnome, the guide, whatever, to try to find a spell. They don't find the spell. They try to draw a spell using the Roaring Applause. They still don't have anything. And at this point, with 4 mana, I know that it cannot be Brawl, They shield slam my 5/5, and it looks like they might be alive, but luckily for me, I've got double activate cultivation and then another cultivation, not to mention the fact that I had a ton of resource generation in my hand as well with the Lifebender's gift. So we just had plenty of damage for lethal here. And all of a sudden, we're at about 250 legend, and we're making progress. Okay, so once again, we are against a hunter. Golly, there are a lot of them on ladder right now. It's almost like it's the best deck in the game. This time I know it's a hunter though, because the skin isn't misleading, and I still decide to keep the Widowbloom Seedsman because even though it's greedy, the payoff of getting Drum Circle out a turn early or just anything out a turn early is just so beneficial. Luckily, we end up drawing Witchwood Apple, which gives us good early game. And I just need to hope they don't have the 2/1 secret costume singer dude, because then we might have a bit of a fuck. We have a problem. Okay, that's fine. We'll play 2 2/2s for 2 mana, which is fine, I guess. Yes, he's able to draw an extra secret, but if my turn 2 is just hero power hit the 2/1, things are gonna be even slower for me, and that's gonna be a problem. Also, this person ends up roping, so Pirate Spice, you suck. They end up roping pretty much every single turn, so I won't narrate every single turn every time. I'll probably stop and fast forward or something. But yeah, this was a miserable game to play because this game takes like 10 minutes and probably should have been over in 5. But yeah, turn 2 rolls around and I try to go really, really fast here because I think maybe they disconnected. Maybe I can cheese a win out of this one, right? But no, they're still here. It wasn't a disconnect, and this is the moment when I realized they're probably roping. Oh, they played a card early. Maybe they're not roping. They hit me in the face, and I'm thinking, okay, they have the coin. Maybe they're thinking about coining something out, but then I see that the arrow is just continuing to select my face, and this is the moment where I realize that this person's just roping. For those of you who are wondering what roping is, because I was asked in my chat, it's basically when you do all of your turn, but then you don't end your turn, right? You just let the rope run out to waste the other person's time, and I try to report them for cheating, but don't actually see roping on there as an option, which is kind of dumb, I guess. I feel like it definitely should be something. I think maybe it's a chat thing, but no, it's not. Whatever. I have to take my turn, so I'll kill off their 2/1. If it's bait and switch, I had enough damage to kill it off by trading both minions. Test out to see maybe if it's explosive trap, and then I forge my Embrace of Nature, and I'm pretty sure I play it, but I also don't want to play into a hidden meaning. So I think I just forged the card here and then pass my turn. Yeah, which is the correct play because I don't want them to get a reduced cost bow, and I also don't want them to get a 3 cost minion that I will eventually have to deal with. They forged their card and maybe they coined it out. No, they just play a Trinket Tracker, which is fine. And yeah, they waste the rest of the next couple of minutes. Like, roping like this shouldn't be allowed. There needs to be an option to report this. Because yes, you can be thinking about your turns. But when it's this, like, blatantly obvious, where you're just wasting several minutes of everybody's time, like, this... And I talked about this with chat. Roping has been around since the beginning of card games, like, virtually. And there's also been some things that you can exploit in like some Magic tournaments where if you go up like 1-0, you can theoretically run the clock out and technically win the tiebreaker because you had less stuff. We end up playing the 4-4 because it curves out nicely. If we play the Summerflower Child into Drum Circle, it could win me the game. But what was I saying? Oh yeah, we are able to, like roping or like time management has always been something that can be abused in card games for stuff like that, but I feel like there needs to be some punishment for that. And I think in Magic, at least when I did like drafts and stuff, there was at least this like social acceptance thing, like you shouldn't do that, you know? It was just an unwritten rule that you shouldn't do it, and if people did, people would get really upset with you. They'd like specifically tech cards in order to beat your deck, because if they were going against you, they wanted to make sure you lost so you didn't rope them or, you know, waste their time. So, you know, there's some ways around it, and it's not like official rules, and maybe there is an official rule about it at this point for Magic, but for Hearthstone, there really isn't. It's just super tilting, and honestly, after this game, I ended up having to like get up, walk around for a little bit, and take a break because of how just upsetting it was. But, you know, maybe I'll win the game, and I'll rub it in his face, and I'll rope him for the final turn. I don't know. With a couple of seconds left, they coin out the bursting, the 4-1, the bursting worm thing. And I'm assuming that's because maybe the program, Hearthstone, knows like if somebody's roping, so he wanted to make sure to play something at the end of the turn. I've never really roped like this competitively. I'm not a competitive roper, so I don't really know the like ins and outs of it. Maybe they know something I don't. But yeah, they end up playing a 4-1, and I'm at 25 HP at this point. I didn't end up drawing Drum Circle again, which is pretty tilting, and they end up having the Star-Strung Bow. I actually get up and leave to go to the bathroom here because I know they're just gonna rope this turn. Actually, no, I didn't get up to go to the bathroom. I just went on to like turn on my fan or something. But anyway, since I knew they were gonna rope, I knew I had time. But yeah, at this point, I'm at 13 HP, and I'm a little bit worried. I'm definitely a little bit worried. Somebody actually says I should do push-ups while I'm waiting, and when I got up to turn on my fan a couple of minutes ago, I actually did consider doing push-ups while waiting. You know what, like make some use out of the time they're wasting. But instead, I just decided to chill and think about what I wanted to do for my next turn because I was in a bit of a pickle and I'm gonna need every bit of brain power to win this one. So, at the start of this turn, I decided to play Planted Evidence, I believe, to try to find a resource, and we find Flipper Friends. And I realize, wait a minute, I played the Disciple of Eonar. So if I play Flipper Friends, it's actually gonna be active. It's gonna give me a 6/6 taunt and a bunch of rush minions so I can maybe kill off a couple of these minions. Hoping it's bait and switch so both of my minions die, and it is bait and switch. So my minions die, I'm able to kill off the 5/8 perfectly, play the Flipper Friends. I play Aquatic Form first, I guess, because why not? And I think I take Planted Evidence here because I think it's better, but Solar Eclipse, there's an argument for it as well. I forget which one I take, but both are fine. I think Solar Eclipse is a little bit greedy, but I take it anyway. We play Flipper Friends. We end up trading one of the 1/1s into the 4/1, and I'm thinking, okay, I probably should have hero powered here for a little bit of extra HP rather than draw a card. It's not like I was playing around Hidden Meaning or anything. That actually was just a misplay. 1 extra HP and 1 damage to their face could have actually been relevant. I mean, I do end up drawing a card, which is nice, but I think that I probably should have hero powered there. And at this point, I'm thinking, wait a minute, Solar Eclipse plus Cultivation is actually lethal, assuming they don't kill off my minions in some way. Obviously, they can have Ricochet Shot, or they can play Star Power, or any number of other things, but if they get greedy, thinking that they're just gonna win the game or wanna play more minions, I can actually win the game with 2 1/1s here. Until they play not 1, but 2 secrets. And at this point, I'm thinking, if either one of those is Wandering Monster or Freezing Trap, I lose the game. But I still probably have to commit to Solar Eclipse Cultivation, right? Like, if I don't do that, the only way I wouldn't commit to that is if I top deck a Drum Circle, right? Then maybe the taunt is enough to warrant not going full face. But because I know that I'm probably dead in a turn or 2 anyway if I don't win the game right here, I realize Solar Eclipse Cultivation is probably for the best. Even if it ends up being, even if it ends up being Freezing Trap or Wandering Monster, it doesn't matter. It doesn't, because I'm gonna lose the game anyway. So you gotta go for a Hail Mary like this and just hope it's enough. Because every now and then, you'll get lucky, and they're not gonna have the perfect cards to beat you. Obviously, this isn't gonna work every time, and sometimes I'd be like 1 damage short of lethal in this position. For example, they hit their 6/6 with their taunt, or they hit the 6/6 with their weapon, as opposed to trading in minions, which put them actually in kill range in the first place, because if they hadn't done that, they would be over 25 HP. So, you know, sometimes it comes down to little misplays and stuff. One of them ends up being Cat Trick, which makes me think the other one's probably Hidden Meaning, because I have only seen 1 of those at this point, and we hit him in the face for lethal, which was super rewarding. I think I flipped the camera off and say stupid hunter or something like that. But it was, oh my god, this was a tilting game. And now we are against a Demon Hunter, and I keep Natural Causes and the Forest Saplings because they are 2 of the best early game cards, and you really want these early game cards against Demon Hunter in case it's Outcast Demon Hunter, which, as of right now, actually has the highest win rate in High Legend because of how fast and consistent it is, but it's kind of hard to play sometimes because you use a lot of resources all at once. They play Wayward Sage, which is mana cheat, which is something I'm kind of scared of, but at least it tells me that it's probably not pure aggro because they usually have a 1-drop, and then the Relic Vault confirms it. Now, you can see at this point that I'm ranked 222, which means that I am in theory 1 win away from 200 legend, and I'm getting a little bit nervous at this point, but it's fine. I mean, this is definitely not the highest I've been in over 2 years at this point, but yeah, I definitely not stressed at all. I end up going natural causes and hero power to kill off the 1/1 and the 2/2 because I don't want to play the Widowbloom Seedsman and get rid of the mana cheat that the Summer Flower Child gives me, right? Because if I ramp up and I have 6 mana, I'm not going to get the finale on this card. We end up getting Cultivation and Topiary. Once again, not hitting Drum Kit. Very unlucky, very unfortunate. Doesn't matter as much this game because I hadn't played the Disciple yet, but still kind of tilting. And then they play Okani. And with Okani, it's really stressful because you don't know what they're going to counter. And all of the things they could counter are pretty bad. Widowbloom Seedsman is probably the least important card here because Ionar is really important with Drum Circle, which we end up drawing. But I need to bait out a spell first because I can play the 2-mana spell, and if it counters it, I can still play Ionar, but it doesn't counter the spell, which means it's going to counter a minion. So I have to play the Widowbloom Seedsman. And like I said, it was the least important. But luckily, I can play the Disciple next turn and play Solar Eclipse into Drum Circle. And I think my opponent makes a pretty big misplay this turn by playing the Speaker Stomper here. You probably shouldn't have done that because I haven't played a Disciple, and I haven't played, wait, did I play, oh, I haven't played Embrace of Nature yet either, which means that it doesn't matter. Like, I can't double activate both activations of Drum Circle, so they probably should have saved that for a turn. But then they play the Prosecutor, which causes me to not be able to play the game for another turn, which was pretty tilting. But maybe I'll top deck something good. I don't top anything good. I kill off the 2-1 with my hero power, and I get a little bit upset here because I really wanted to hit 200 legend by the end of the stream, but it's okay. They hit me in the face for a ton of damage, and then they play the Enchanter, which is such a good setup, by the way, for removal, because it makes all of my minions take more damage. If they have increased spell damage, not even a giant wall of minions is gonna be enough to survive this, but I have to play it. I have to play Drum Circle here, or I'm going to lose. So I play the Solar Eclipse and Drum Circle, and I could play Cultivation here, and I think about it for a second. And I'm like, is playing Cultivation an overcommit? Because if they can kill this board, they'll probably be able to kill it relatively easily. And I hit their face. Actually, kind of a misplay because they end up playing Emolition Aura. I actually thought about this briefly. What if they play Emolition Aura and it does 1 damage to their own Enchanter? But I'm pretty sure they would have just played this in a slightly different order. They probably would have traded first and then played the 1 card. Then they play the Relic of Extinction and kill off a bunch of my minions. And I'm thinking, I'm pretty sure I'm dead here, but maybe Topiary will be enough to save me, right? We have Topiary, we have Embrace of Nature. If it draws me the Lifebinder's Gift, we can maybe generate some extra resources and have a bit of a board here. We get the Lifebinder's Gift, we play it. We don't generate anything really good in the moment, but it's good for later on, right? Because we can maybe heal up with the Altered Chord. Can't do it this turn, but maybe it'll be okay. I should have played the Forest Blossoms. I forgot to do it. I was like, oh, it's not a nature spell. I don't need to play this card. But not playing it means I can't kill these taunt minions. So it's actually super relevant, and it could end up losing me the game. But they didn't top deck any damage, which is super nice, and I top deck Natural Chord, which kind of makes up for not having the minions out there because it's another nature spell, and it deals 2 damage immediately. We're going to use the Altered Chord just in case I did my math wrong here, and then we're going to use the Topiary passive to get the 3/3 whelps and kill up all their minions, and just like that, are we top 200 legend? We hit 200. We're gonna count it, that's top 200, and that was a successful stream.